Hello, Diablo 2 fans. I want to take the time to talk about my favorite Diablo 2 or ARPG experience, which is Median XL. Today we're going to be talking about Median XL Sigma 2.4, which isn't exactly my favorite version of Median, at least not online in my estimation. Now, if you like Median content, please consider subscribing. I will be releasing more Median content, especially guides on how to do labyrinths, endgame, bosses, etc., and build guides on applicable characters that can do the endgame. Now let's get on with the video. I want to preface this with the fact that I enjoy Median, and it's still more fun to me than PoE or any other APRG game. However, I have not played Median, since 2012, and it was a big culture shock coming to me, coming back to the Season 32. And when I came back, unfortunately this experience was less enjoyable to me than Median 2012, at least the online experience, but let me explain. There are a load of new dungeons, charms, bosses, items, builds, etc., etc., and I love all that, and I love the endgame of Median XL now. As when I played, the end game was basically FOTS, and now FOTS is considered early game, relatively speaking. And I think that adds a lot to the game in terms of end game, and that's pretty cool, but there's some problems. If you make the game nearly unplayable to a specific level, people will be less inclined to play the game. And right now, Median XL has seemed to have gone through a frustration level event for the game, which makes it so people will have to generally donate to the Median devs for trade gold to be able to play the end game. And that's a huge issue to me because I come from a game called War Thunder, and War Thunder uses the same tactic, which is frustration. Frustrate you enough to want to spend money on the game to play it. Now, let me preface this with the fact that I support the Median devs, and I understand that they need to make money to continue the servers. Servers are not cheap. And, I've already donated probably about $100, maybe a little bit more for trade gold to make my experience easier in Median XL. But not everybody has the expendable funds to do that. And unfortunately, right now, there is a lot of issue with that for me, because if you want to play the end game, you are going to probably have to spend money on TG unless you get really lucky with the things that you find that you can sell on the market. And the thing about that is that, the season is usually dead 1 month into the 3-month season, from what I've been told since I came back. Now, let me get into greater detail about the issues. Currently Median XL, specifically Median XL Multiplayer, or the TWS, which is the ladder that's hosted by the Median team, there are a lot of changes that I'm not a fan of. That specifically being the gutting of multiplayer or team-based gameplay in Median. Now, I realize a lot of people play Median because it's like the Dark Souls of Diablo 2. As an avid Dark Souls player, I enjoy this aspect as well. However, if there is going to be an online element to the game should be better equipped to facilitate team play instead of balancing the game behind single player. Let me explain. There are quite a few things I was not aware of. For instance, that you are no longer will get increased experience EXP game with more players in the game. Now, the slog that is the grind to level 150 is exceptionally long, especially if you're not geared or able to play the endgame dimensional labyrinths, specifically Labyrinths 9 or Labyrinths 10. There is a 1 through 10 set of labyrinths in the endgame, that 10 being the last labyrinth, the last major dungeon, in terms of like the rifts or dungeons outside of boss fights, etc. However, the only way to gain experience applicably in the game is to do T9s or T10s at a certain point. And that being said, certain characters in my experience and very gear-specific builds are the only ones that are able to do these dungeons. So the main issue I have with the game, if you haven't played Median, there are almost no support buffs or support classes that make it so team play is encouraged in the endgame. For instance, barb stances don't work on your party like they used to, nor are there very many buffs at all outside of specific relics that apply generally to, do not generally apply to characters Mostly being O skills, which are skills that are not actually on any character, or they were on characters before but are no longer. You know, things like Dark Power Relic and etc. Now, I think this is an effort to make the game more balanced for single player. This I'm okay with. However, if you're going to make the game harder for more players in the game, in the lobby, there should be more team-based buffs or character trees people can take to allow that are just barely able to do, you know, labs 9 or 10, or maybe they couldn't without a specific support buffing character. Now, the reason why I see this as being an issue is there are only so few level 150 characters on ladder, and a lot of these characters are getting to 150 by using a broken build in labs, which, mind you, there are not many. The main culprit right now is an O-skill Sork called Weird Sork, is, you know, the broken character, which can solo T10 with the right gear with a +3 players game. So instead of promoting team play, we're having the trope of, oh, just, you know, have somebody rush me through T10 labs and I'll get to 150. Now I'm sitting at level 148, nearly 149. But to get to level 150, you know, I've played over 110, 112 hours of Amazon, and it's only level 148, nearly 149. And she can solo labs 1 through 9, but, you know, 9 is very difficult, which I'm okay with that. But you can't really do 10s on GT's on, and one of the main issues that I have with that is that the power spike from level 140 to 150 due to the fact of how unique Mystic Orbs work, is they only, the unique ones generally add +10 level requirement to the character, and each one of my items can benefit from a unique Mystic Orb right now, and it would be a huge power spike for my Zon to allow her to be able to run T10. However, the amount of experience I get in T9s is not very much, and it's going to take eons almost to get to 150, versus if I have my friend who's on a Weird Sork run me through T10 labs, I could get to 150 quicker. But I don't like that because I can't really contribute much. I can contribute some damage, but not much, while the Weird Sork just runs through the labs. And this is I don't know why we're getting away from team play entirely. I've been told it's happened since the initial Sigma release that team play has been gutted from the game. Again, I'm not too sure. Last time I played was MXL 2012 days, so I don't know. But I think this is an issue that should be fixed, and you should not use frustration and elongated endgame to make it to where people will want to buy TG to make their experience less easy, especially people that don't have the disposable income. And then it just becomes a huge time sink, where you'd have to spend 300-400 hours and hope you find the right items in game to trade, and then sometimes by that time, depending upon how much time you have to play the game, the ladder will be dead and nobody will trade you you know, applicable TG for whatever items that you find, or maybe nobody will trade at all because there's not that many people playing. Anyways, the rant's over. I thank you for checking out the video, and I hope you all have a good day or night, whichever the case may be, and I will talk to you next time.